What's going on, everybody? B Scott here with you, and on today's show, I got your tight end sit starts. Most tight ends are going to be starting at this point. As long as they can catch a pass, you're going to be starting them. And then obviously I got some streamer options for you ahead of week 4. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first 4 downs. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. As I mentioned in the preview, we got your tight end sit starts going into week 4. To be honest, you're starting any tight end that can catch a pass at this point. A lot of them have not looked up to par. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff. Drop a comment. If there's a tight end I don't mention in this video, you want to hear about him, you want to ask me a sit question about him, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to get back to you because at this point, tight ends are just tough all around. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the obvious tight ends you're going to be starting. Okay, you're going to be starting Travis Kelce, plain and simple. You start him every week, number 1 tight end on the road against Philly that just gave up Dalton Schultz 2 touchdowns last night. Travis Kelce should be the tight end one this week. Next guy, Darren Waller, another must start, plain and simple. You drafted him, you're starting him every week. Going against the Chargers defense that's been a little susceptible to tight ends. So Darren Waller smash spot here. George Kittle, starting him in Seattle, looks like he's waking up. He went against a Green Bay team that was bad against tight ends. Now he gets Seattle in a divisional matchup. He's going to be coming, ready to play. That game's going to be great. So obviously George Kittle, smash start for me. Mark Andrews on the road against the Denver Broncos. Finally getting it going at 100 yards receiving on 5 receptions just last week. And Denver, not a great matchup here. They've been pretty good against tight ends. Their defense overall has been pretty solid. But you got to be firing up Andrews here just with the touchdown upside on a weekly basis. This could be a slow, grinded out type of game with 2 defenses. So Mark Andrews in that red zone. I'll take it for a touchdown possibly this week. He's better than not having a touchdown through the first 3 weeks. So obviously, Mark Andrews, you're starting him here. TJ Hawkinson looked great last week. Kind of had a dud game. It's kind of a blip in my opinion. He's looked solid. He's been playing the part, and he gets the Chicago Bears defense that's actually been decent against tight ends, but you're firing up Hawkinson, plain and simple. Logan Thomas, another guy against the Atlanta Falcons. You got to be starting him here. 10+ fantasy points through the first 3 weeks in full PPR. You'll just take that. At this point, you're starting him every week. Must start. Set it and forget it. Dallas Goedert on the road against Kansas City. This is a good spot, but you saw last night with Zach Ertz. Catches a touchdown. Looking like he's, they're almost 50-50 in the snap department right now. They both play a lot on the field at the same time, but still, I don't like Zach Ertz. His first game back was out with COVID last week, so it's not looking good for Goddard's production moving forward as a trustworthy tight end on a weekly basis. Now, yeah, I get it. This is one of the highest over-unders of the week, going against Kansas City Chiefs defense that just doesn't look good. So I'd be firing up Goddard here. He still had an okay day, just didn't find the end zone, so definitely Goddard you're starting. Noah Fant, great spot here against the Baltimore Ravens team, giving up second most fantasy points to tight ends on the season, most receptions to tight ends, and KJ Hamler is out, torn his ACL. You got Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton, and Noah Fant. These are your pass catchers that they can trust in this offense right now. Should be a great matchup. Going to be a lot of defense played, kind of a low over-under, but I like the volume for Noah Fant on a weekly basis. So I'm going to be firing Noah Fant for sure this week. Gronkowski, been great through the first 3 weeks, plain and simple. Dealing with a little bit of a rib injury. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the reports are that he'll more than likely be playing. So you're going to be firing up Gronkowski. But this is a tough spot. New England Patriots giving up the fewest fantasy points to tight ends on the season. And Gronkowski heading back home against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots with Tom Brady. This is just going to be a great game to watch overall. And obviously, you're starting Gronk if you got him. He's been outstanding through the first 3 weeks. So obviously you're playing Gronk, but it could be tough for him. Kyle Pitts on the road against the Washington football team. You got to be starting him here too. Dawson Knox caught a touchdown last night, on Sunday. I'm sorry. You look at what Kyle Pitts has done. The target share is upticking a little bit. Now, yes, he hasn't necessarily put it together all the way. Washington football team, their defense just doesn't look like they've been that strong at all. So it's hard to trust Atlanta, period, because the offense looks so bad. Matt Ryan just not playing up to par. But you're starting Kyle Pitts. If you drafted him as high as your top 5 tight end, you're starting him. Plain and simple. I'd start him over a lot of other. You're not going to take any streamers because there's too many risks at the tight end position. Robert Tonyan, this is a guy I worry about. He's so boom or bust. You saw Sunday Night Football. 1 target, 1 catch. Now, he did have a target in which it was a PI. So, who knows there. But still, the target share is just not looking to be there. Green Bay, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. You could start Tonyan. I'm not saying not to start him, but I'll tell you right now, he's a very boomer bust tight end, especially needing a touchdown to get his production. He doesn't get a lot of receptions. He's not going to get a lot of looks. So he's very touchdown dependent, and I'm not sure if it's going to come here against Pittsburgh Steelers, albeit their defense is starting to fall apart. So if you got Tonyan, you got to stream him this week. I understand. One tight end sit for me. I told you to sit him last week. I said it in the video that he'd probably have a touchdown in a great day. That was Tyler Higbee. And he did. He proved me wrong once again. But this week, honestly, it's not a good matchup for him. Going against the Arizona Cardinals defense, allowed just 8 receptions for 48 total yards to tight ends through the first 3 weeks. Third fewest fantasy points. And to be honest, the Arizona Cardinals not going to be able to stop Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson. So I don't necessarily know if they're going to really be able to need to utilize Tyler Higbee. And they'll probably be able to run the ball a little more effectively against the Cardinals defense. So I'm out on Tyler Higbee this week. Last week, I was obviously wrong with that, but I think this week you're just going to see the volume's probably not going to be there like it was last week against the Bucs and that horrible secondary that they're putting together right now, just decimated with injuries. So, a couple streaming tight ends for me. Pat Freiermuth on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Honestly, it's just a great spot. Green Bay Packers have given up a lot of fantasy points to the tight end position. You saw Kittle get off on him. This is a guy that I think will see a little uptick. I've been talking about it for the last few weeks. That eventually he'll work his way into being a starting tight end, I think, throughout the season. Now, they're dealing with a lot of pass catchers being hurt, the wide receivers, and you saw Najee Harris, 19 targets. I think Freiermuth, 1, is a red zone target, and 2, you could see a little more uptick, and he's seen it over the first 3 weeks. And Eric Ebron, it's looking like he's already kind of supplanted him as the tight end to be wanted in this offense. So, for me, Pat Freiermuth is a streaming option this week. I think Steelers going to have to try and score some sort of points against Green Bay Packers. So, Freiermuth, dart throw stream if you're taking a chance on a tight end. A couple more streams for me. Dawson Knox. He's looking good. He's at 7 or 8 plus fantasy points, PPR, through the first 3 weeks with the Buffalo Bills. Now, yes, they're playing the Houston Texans. They're favored by 17.5. So, yeah, maybe he sees 1 or 2 targets, and they're blowing out the Houston Texans as it is. But one of those targets could be in the end zone. And he made an outstanding catch for the touchdown just last week against the Washington football team. So Dawson Knox is another dart throw, a guy that, let's say you draft the Tonyan as your starting tight end. I would possibly be looking at Dawson Knox this week, maybe Pat Freiermuth as an option that could have a pretty decent week. Hopefully find the end zone for each of these guys. And then Hunter Henry, I'm gonna throw this out here, running twice as many routes as Jonnu Smith, is about the same in the target share with Jonnu, but I think the Patriots are going to be a more passing game script, especially this week against the Tampa Bay offense, plain and simple. They're probably going to be needing to throw a little bit more. And the secondary of the Tampa Bay Bucs, you see that it's kind of decimated. So, to be honest, Hunter Henry, a possible option here. Based on volume, could see 5 catches, 6 catches here. I know the yardage hasn't been there. I know there's been no touchdowns. Mac Jones didn't have a great day. But this Bucs secondary's really looked as poor as ever. They've given up the most yards to quarterbacks. So Hunter Henry, just a possible dart throw here. Him and Jonnu Smith, either one. If Jonnu's been dropped in your league or whatever else, these guys are possible streams this week in plus matchup. So that's been the tight end video, plain and simple. These are your tight ends you're gonna be starting. There's not too many sits because at this point you're taking chances on anybody that's catching any passes, plain and simple. So once again, if you like the video, subscribe, share, thumb, bell, all that good stuff. Drop a comment if there's a tight end I missed or you want to talk about him. Drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to get back to you. So anyway, once again, for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott, and I'm out.